तस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरोर्श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणरघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजन सहितं श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदान्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायिने कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामिने गौरत्विषे नमः। पंचतत्वात्मकं कृष्णं भक्तरूपस्वरूपकं भक्तावतारं भक्ताख्यं नमामि भक्तशक्तिकं। श्रीकृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। जन्माद्यस्य तन्मयादितरतश्चार्थेषु भिज्ञस्वराट् तेने ब्रह्म हृदय आदि कवये मुह्यन्ति यत्सूरयः। तेजो वारि मृदां यथा विनिमयो यत्र त्रिसर्गो मृषा धाम्ना स्वेन सदा निरस्तकुहकं सत्यं परं धीमहि। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth Canto, chapter number 20, beginning from verse 33. So this description of meeting between Prithu and Lord who appeared in his India and asked him to take a boon. So Prithu asked for 2 boons in the beginning, that he has 10,000 years and service to the lotus feet of the Lord. But later on he said that just do what is beneficial for me, because I am like a father who is the well-wisher of the child. So then Lord, he blessed him that you have my devotion, because that is the best you can give. Because bhakti is the heart of the Lord. So he basically gave himself to him. And then he was ready to leave. So before that he said, Tattvam kuru maya adishtam apramattah prajapate madadesha karo loka sarvatrapnuti shobhanam. So he says that therefore now you do what I have ordered you without any leniency or inadvertence. You are Prajapati, and a person who follows my instruction, he attains everything. All auspiciousness comes to such a person. So this is the instruction he gave to Prithu Maharaj after he asked for the boon. So I don't think there is any commentary on this. There is nothing on this. And after this Maitreya, he describes that how Lord was about to leave from there. Maitreya Vacha, Maitreya said, Iti Vanyasya Rajarshe Pratinandyartha अर्थवद्वचः पूजितो अनुगृहीत्वेनं गन्तुं चक्रेच्युतो मतिम्. So after that, Mitra said that Vidur, when Lord has spoken these words to the great saintly King Prithu, so Prithu, he respected them. Manyasya Rajarshe Pratinandarthvadvacha. And Lord respected the words of actually Rajarshe when he said the words of King Prithu, and Prithu in response worshipped him, and then blessing him, he decided to leave that place. So Lord came and now he wants to go away because he just came to bless him. Devarshi Pitri Gandharva Siddhacharanapanagaha Kinnagapsar Somartya Khaga Bhutanya Nekshaha. And he was not alone because there was a whole entourage with him. There were Devarshis, Pitris, Gandharvas, Siddhacharanas, Panagas, Kinnar, Apsarsa, human beings, birds. So all these, and Yagyeshwar Dhyaragya Vagivita Anjali Bhaktita Sabhajita Yev Sarve Vakunthanugata Sata. And then there were also Lord's associates who had come with him. So Prithu, he worshipped everybody, all of them, considering them as Lord themselves, or manifestation of the Lord. Yagyeshwar Dhyaragya Vagavit Anjali Bhaktita. So worshipping at that time was not that he did some puja or anything, but he spoke nice, respectable words to them and folded his hands, but looks like he also gave some gifts. Vagavit Anjali Bhakti. 4 things are mentioned here. At his speech, some vit means wealth, means he must have given some gifts to them. And Anjali is folded hands and Bhakti is devotion. So with the devotion he spoke, with devotion he gave them gifts, and with devotion he folded his hands. So this is how he treated all of them. They all left for their own places. In other words, not only that he respected the Lord, but he also respected all his associates. He did not disregard them. Bhagavan api rajarse sopadhyasya chachyutah harannive mano mushya swadhama pratipatiti. And then Lord Achyuta, he as if was stealing the heart of the king and also his priests there, Upadhyaya. He went to his abode. Adrishtaya namaskritya nirpaya sandarshitatmane avyaktaya cha devanam devaya swapuramaya. And when he left from there, then he was invisible. So the king, he paid obeisances to the Lord who has now disappeared. But it looks like as if he was still able to see him. So Lord, who is called Avyakta here, or whose form is unmanifest, he became invisible and the king paid respect to him. And then the king, he left to his own city. So this is the end of chapter number 20. Annairadrishtaya sandarshit atma ashyoyena tasmaiti vaikuntha gaman paryantam prithustu tam dadarshya. So Vishwanath Chakravarti says that although he was invisible to others, Prithu Maharaj was able to see him till he reached Vaikuntha. So this was special blessing on Prithu. This is the end of commentary on 20th chapter. Now this is chapter number 21. So in 20th chapter we read how the Lord appeared along with Indra, and then he instructed Prithu indirectly not to be envious, because that is not the quality of a devotee or surrendered person or one who is doing service to the senior people. And then he spoke about soul and Lord and devotion. So various instructions he gave how the king should take care of the subjects, because he takes taxes from them, and if he does not do that, then he will get the sin, 1/6 of the sins. And he said, very soon you are going to see the great sages, the Kumaras. And finally he asked him that you take a boon from me. And that is when Prithu Maharaj started speaking. He was very emotional, full of love for the Lord. He was unable to speak. And then he showed interest only in hearing Krishna Katha, because he said that by hearing everything will come. There was no other boon which attracted his mind. But ultimately he said that all this talk of taking boon is just to bewilder the mind of human beings. So you just do what is best for them. So he was blessed to have bhakti. Now, if you remember, Prithu Maharaj had taken a resolve to do 100 Ashwamedas or sacrifice. And therefore he was not living in his capital. So when you take this initiation Diksha to do the sacrifice, then certain principles have to be followed, and one of them is that you have to stay in the same place. You cannot, daytime you are in the sacrificial area and night time you go back your home. So wherever they had chosen this place, this was obviously not in the palace, not in the capital, it was somewhere outside. As we know that the Brahmanas from the Mathura, they were coming and doing yajna here, near the Parikrama mark. So similarly this sacrifice was arranged in some open area, because a lot of things are needed, a lot of visitors come there. So there is also arrangement to be made for people to live, to eat. So we need an open area. A lot of ghee has to be stored and other ingredients. So he must have not been in his kingdom for a long time now, because Ashwamedha takes at least 1 year. He did 99, and she was out for 99 years. So now he is going back. So when he is going back, then everybody is very happy, and they are receiving the king very nicely. So in first 6 or 7 verses, there is actually just a nice description of how he was received by people when he entered the kingdom, how they decorated the whole place. It's like now we had Diwali festival, so this festival is celebrated because Lord Ramchandra came back after 14 years of exile to Ayodhya. So everybody celebrated that day, as if the light has come in their life. Without Lord, they were as if in darkness. So that's how the Diwali is celebrated. So 21st chapter, first verse. Moktikahi, Maitreya is describing. Moktikahi kusumas ragbhir dukulai swarnatoranaihi Mahasurbhi-dhupaimanditam tatra tatra vai. So it looks like people had a lot of gems in the room. So they are decorating their place with garland made from moti. What is moti called? Pearl. So they have made pearl garlands and putting outside their houses. Not only flower garlands, but garlands made from nice pearls. That is the first thing mentioned, Mauktike. And Kusama Sragavi, and also with the flowers. And then there were Dukulai, also beautiful cloth, fancy cloth, decorated like a gate. So all these things were put, everybody decorated there. And then there were Swarna Torani. It's like you make a gate on the road, somebody is coming, you put a banner and put gold and cloth. So these gates were made from gold. Swarna Torani. And there were very nice fragrances, incense, not the chemical one, but the real incense. So very nice fragrance coming. Chandan Naguru Stoyartra Rathya Chatvar Margavat Pushpakshat Falastokmai Lajairarchi Bhirarchitam. And then they decorated all the crossings, the roads, and the little paths. So everywhere they had sprinkled chandan and aguru. It's fragrant, so nice smell. And then they had decorated with flowers, and akshat is rice, and the barley sprouts. They are also considered as very auspicious. These are all auspicious things. And there was kheel, this past rice. This is what we had that day for Diwali. This is called kheel.
Kiva?
Kheel, yeah, which is distributed on Diwali.
Oh, yeah.
This rice.
Puffed rice.
It's not puffed, it is puffed is other one. This is past.
Kiva.
So in Sanskrit this is called laja. And this is also considered as auspicious.
Yeah.
That's why they distribute it on Diwali. And it doesn't have much taste, but it's auspicious.
They just puff. It's like a puffing with the sand.
And Deepak means ghee lamp. So this is the way they are decorated. Now you put all these lights, blinking lights, running with electricity. Previously they were doing with the lamps. And then Savrindahi Kadali Stambhai Pugopotai Pariskritam Tarupallava Malabhi Sarvataha Samalankritam. Another thing which is considered as very auspicious is the banana plants. So at different places they had these banana plants with their fruits hanging, and the plants of the supari. Supari is this betel nut. So this is also considered as auspicious. But usually it grows more in the Assam side. Maybe it was growing here also. Guwahati is famous for this. It's called Goa means that plant. And Hat means bazaar, marketplace. That's why this place is called Guwahati or this Guwahati. So it appeared very nice, and then they had made this mango leaves, bandanwar, hanging leaves with the mango. So taru pallav mala bhi sarvata samalam. Pallav means the fresh leaves coming from the various trees. So tie them together and hang. So prajastam deep balibhi samvrita shesha mangalaihi abhiyur mrishta kanyascha mrishta kundala manditaha. So all the people, they came there and he entered, and they received him with lamps, gifts, and various types of auspicious articles like fruits, flowers, sprinkle yogurt, and the pusa grass, or sometimes throwing golden coins. So this is how they received the king. And then another thing which is mentioned here is that there were beautiful girls who were in front. So spinsters, unmarried girls, they are also considered as the representation of Shakti and worshipable. So they are kept in front, and they are wearing very beautiful earrings, shining. It is specifically mentioned here. That they themselves were very clean, nicely dressed, Mrist Kanya and Mrist Kundala Mandika. So they had big earrings hanging, shining. So this is how the king was received. And Sankadundubhi Ghoshena Brahma Ghoshena Char Pujam Vivesha Bhavanam Vira Stuyamano Gatasmeha. Then along with this they were blowing on the conches, and Dundubi is another instrument like Nadeshwar. And Brahma Ghosh means chanting of the Vedic mantras. So Brahmanas were receiving him with Sahasra Shirasha Purusha, chanting Sukta, Vedic mantras. And this is that great hero. Then he entered in his palace while he was being glorified by the bards. So there were different type of people singing. Brahmanas, Ritviks, they were singing the Vedic mantras, and bards were singing the glories of the king. This is how he entered, but very important thing which is mentioned here is that Gatsmaya, that he was not proud in all this. He was very humble. He did not feel that he is some very special person and proud. No, he remained very humble and accepted everybody's reception, whatever they had for him. Pujitah pujyamasa tatra tatra mahayashaha Puran janpadan stan stan prita priya varaprada. So while he was going on the way, the people came, they greeted him, worshipped him, and he also responded to them by worshipping them back. So that means he was not just accepting, but he was also acknowledging the worshipping, and in response he also worshipped back, means spoke nice words to them, gave them gift, because he was giving many gifts, he was receiving many gifts. So it does not mean that he was keeping it, but was not giving, also giving. Some people may be coming to ask him something, poor people, so he gave. So this is how he entered his palace. सैवमादीनन्यवद्यचेष्टितः कर्माणि भूयांसि महान् महत्तम कुर्वन् सशासवनिमण्डलं यशस्वीतं निधायारुहे परम padam. So he says that in this way Maharaj Prithu, who was worshipable of all great people. He was great, he was the greatest, he was worshipable of all. He was a very extraordinary person. And he performed many charitable deeds and ruled over the earth for a long time. And in this way, spreading his fame all around, he attained the supreme abode of the Lord. So this is how he lived such a wonderful life. And so the commentary by Sri Vishnath. एकविंशे महासत्रे सर्वसौन्दर्यमण्डितः प्रश्रयाब्धि पृथुर्भक्तिं स्वप्रजासं शिक्षयत्. So in this 21st chapter there is a description that Prithu Maharaj, who was the ocean of humility and had all beauty, in the great sacrifice, great meeting he had called, he instructed his people about bhakti. So later on it will be described that how he called a big assembly and various types of people came in that, scholars, sages, and then he stood up and he gave a nice talk on devotion to the Lord. So that will be described here in this chapter. Puram yayo ityuktam tat puram anuvarneti moktikairiti trij. In the last verse of the last chapter, it was described that after Lord left, then he went to his city, his capital. So that is being described here now, how he entered. Moktikadibhir yat puram manditam tatra tatra yayaviti purvenaiva anvaya. So his city, his place was decorated with all these things described here. Tokmair haritayavai. Tokma is word for barley sprouts. Archibhi deepai, archi means the lamp. Savrintai falpuspa vrinta sahitai. So when it was described that they brought this banana plant, they brought it along with fruits and also flower. So this flower of banana also looks very nice. And Pugai Potai Nutan Guvaka Vrikshai, and very small plants of this betel nut. Nirmanjanartha Deepavali bhi Sampurna se Samangalai Dadhyadi bhi Sahita. And they did arti of him with the lamps and also other auspicious objects which are not mentioned here, such as yogurt. Mrisht Kanya Marjit Gatriya Kumarika. They were beautiful spinsters who were very clean. And Mrishta Kundala iti taduplakshita ujjwal vastra alankarita. They had nice earrings, and he said that this is an indicative that not only they had nice earrings but also beautiful dresses and other ornaments. They are not mentioned here, but it should be understood. Gatasmaya swasya tadrisham asadharanam ashvaryam vikshyapi vigat garva. So although king, he saw such great opulence all around him, and he was very happy that he is such a opulent king, but he remained very humble. Pujitah pauradibhi swarna mudra anarga navya vastradi upayana arpanena ityartha. He was worshipped by the citizens. So just like even in India, students' customs, a big person comes, especially as politicians, then people come and give them some gifts very common. They make garland from the bills. So he was also given golden ornaments, cloths, he put chadar. So expensive things were given to him. Pujayamascha uttirena kanchuka ushni sa adi pratidhanam. And then king was also worshipping them. He was giving them uttirna kanchuka. He was giving them upper cloth, kurta, topi, headgear, all this. So Ushnis was also a very typical dress of India. In India previously people were never bareheaded, especially if they went to any function or anywhere, then everybody will have their head covered with this headgear called Ushnis. And they used to be of various types, various styles, colorful. So you'll see everybody having this headgear. And the Brahmanas, when they chanted Veda mantras, they have to, it is actually written that it should not be bare head. So they used to have big pagadi on top of their head while chanting the mantras. So king, he was also giving to them, and giving this headgear as a gift is also considered as very honorable and something you want to respect somebody. Like these days you give this upper cloth, chadar. So on the olden days they used to give this headgear. This was very, very respectable. महान महत्तमैति उत्तम मध्यम कनिष्ठतया त्रिविधेषु महत्तमेषु मध्ये उत्तम महत्तम. So he says that he is Mahan Mahattam, he is the greater or the greatest. So he says that there are three types of people. There are Uttam, Madhyam and Kanishta. There are the top class, middle class, lower class. So those who are good in all three classes, he was the best of all them. The meaning of Mahan Mahattam. So now Suta Goswami, he speaks. He comes in between, although the dialogue is going on between Maitreya and Vidura. It is Suta Goswami who is relating this to Shaunaka. So Suta vacha tadadi rajasya yasho vijrimbhitam gunairaseshair gunvatsabhajitam shatta mahabhagavata sadaspate kausharavin prahigranam tamarchayan. Suta Goswami said that, O Shaunaka, at that time the great devotee Vidura, he, respecting the words of Kausharavini's Maitreya, after hearing the wonderful glory of the king, Gunaira Seshair Gunvatsabhajitam, was endowed all with this wonderful qualities, then he spoke as follows to him. So Vidura has heard these wonderful activities of Prithu Maharaj, his great character, his fame from Maitreya. So he respected it very much and was very happy. Then he spoke as follows. So Maitreya was like, he has closed the chapter, because he said that in this way he ruled, and then spreading his fame he went to the abode of the Lord. But Vidura was not satisfied yet, he wanted to hear more. So therefore he speaks. So commentary on this verse, He Sadaspate Shaunaka. Sadaspati is the Shaunaka, he was the chief of all that assembly of the sages in Naimisharanya. Chatta vidurha ashesh gunair vijrimbhitam urjitam gunvadbhi sabhajitam stutam tadadirajasi yasho granantam kausaravim archiyam. So after hearing the wonderful character of the king being described by Maitreya, worshipping him, he spoke as follows. So Viduruvacha, Vidura said, So Visikta Prithuviprair Labdha Sesha Surarhana Vibratsa Vaishnavam Tejo Bhavyoryabham Dudohagam. He said that, O Brahman, the Brahmanas, they did the Abhishek of Prithu Maharaj, they installed him, and all the Devas, they gave him gifts, and he was holding the Vaishnava Shakti in his arms, and he is the one who milked cow, the earth in the form of cow. Konvasya kirtim na shrunotya bhigyo Vidvikramochishtam ashesha bhupa Lokasapala jivanti kamam adhyapitam nevad karma suddha. He said that even today the kings are actually enjoying the remnants of his valor, what he did. Because he is the one who leveled the earth, he is the one who arranged the cities, villages. So afterward the kings, they got all the system from him. So he says that even today they are enjoying what he did. So that king, he lived the life following the desire of all the Lokpalas and the people. Punvasya kirtim Lokasapalaha upjivanti kamam adhyapi tanmevad karam suddham. So who is that who would not like to hear his kirti? Therefore please let me hear more about him, his pure deeds which he has performed. Please explain them to me further. I am not satisfied. Yasya vikramene uchchishtamiti sarvesham kamanam prithvi dohanasya advikrama kritva tvadya arabdhanev iti matva iti shesha. So he says that he is the one who milked the earth and gave all the objects, desirable things to people, whatever was needed at that time. So now also the kings, they are having that, or they are enjoying that, thinking that this is their prarabdha. Means it is Prithu who worked and they are getting all the good results of that. So I want to hear more about his deeds, his exploits. So then Maitreya, he starts speaking. Ganga Yamunayor Nadyorantara Kshetram Avasan Arabdhaneva Viduje Bhogan Punya Jihasaya. Maitreya said that, O Vidura, Maharaj Prithu, he lived in the area between the river Ganga and Yamuna. This is considered as the most pious land between these two rivers. And he was enjoying everything, whatever was there, considering this as his prarabdha, or coming from the fate, so that he could get rid of his piety. So usually you want to become free from the sin. He was trying to get rid of his piety. Because if you want to become transcendental, you have to give up both. Not only the sinful reactions, but also the pious reactions. Because both are a bondage to this material world. So one has to exhaust both. to become transcendental. So he says, Arabdhaneva bhuje bhogan punya jihase. That whatever prarabdha, whatever activities he has done and whatever he was getting, he considered this as an outcome of his fate, good fortune. And thus was relishing them, thinking that this will exhaust my pride. So Sri Vishnu Chakravarti says, Prarabdhaneva iti matva iti says, considering that this is coming because of my prarabdha, my fortune. Yadyapi bhagavad avtarattvena bhaktattvena cha na tasya prarabdham karma. So now how can he has prarabdha karma? Because he is an avatar and he is a devotee also. So avatara is free from karma. Therefore there is no question of fate or fortune for an avatar. A devotee is also free from karma. Devotee is not implicated in good karma or bad karma. He is free from that. So therefore there was no question of any prarabdha karma for him. Because he is beyond the jurisdiction of karma. He has transcended karma, good or bad, both. So what does it mean? He says, Tadapi bhakti bhumna ati danyena prakrita jiva evaham sukh dukha bhyam punya pape jihasami iti tadabhyam. That because of great devotion which was manifest in his heart, out of humility he was thinking like an ordinary living being. And he was great. And therefore whatever was coming to him, whether pleasure or pain, he was thinking this as an outcome of his sinful and pious deeds from the past. So sometimes devotees also think like this. Something unfavorable happened, they say, oh, this is because of my bad karma. Although devotees don't have bad karma. So he was thinking like that, and thus thinking that by going through this reaction, I am getting rid of it. In this way I am making advancement towards the pure devotion. सर्वत्र स्खलित आदेश सप्तद्वीकैक दंड धृक अन्यत्र ब्राह्मण कुलाद अन्यत्र च्युत गोत्रतः. So it is described that when he was ruling, he was the supreme ruler of the whole earth planet. Saptadvipa Eka Dandadrik. There are 7 divisions of earth. So he was the one master. And everything was under his control. Sarvatra Asplit Adesha. Nobody transgressed his order except for the Brahmanas and for those who are called Achyut Gotra, the Vaishnavas. That means he did not rule over the Brahmanas and the Vaishnavas, because Brahmanas are superior to the king, and Vaishnavas are also superior. So he did not exercise any control over them. Because Brahmanas, they are engaged in the study of the Vedas, in the culture of knowledge. So no question of disturbing them. And similarly the Vaishnavas, they are devoted to the Lord. So Achyuta eva gotram pravartak tulyo yesham. Vaishnavas are called Achyut Gotra. Gotra means family lineage, family name basically. So like in India people have Gotra, Vasishta Gotra, Garga, and the names of the rishis. So this signifies that they are coming in the line of those sages. But devotees, when they surrender to the Lord, when they take Diksha, then they get a new birth. And now they belong to the family of the Lord. So then their Gotra becomes the Achyut Gotra. They don't identify with their previous Gotra anymore. And therefore he says that Achyuta eva Gotram Pravartaktulyam. He says Lord Achyuta, Lord Krishna is as if they are originator of their family, of their dynasty. So they are called Achyut Gotra. Tebhya Vaishnavanam. These are the Vaishnavas. Varnashram abhavo vinjite. This also indicates that they are free from Varna and Ashram. So Vaishnava is not belonging to any Varna or any Ashram. He is transcendental to that. Which means that he is not obliged to perform any Varnashrama duties. He may do it just not to create disturbance in the society, but there is no need for him or her to do that. So tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyate yavata mat katha shravnadava shraddha yavanna jayate. Krishna says that one performs the karma, which means duties according to varnashrama, as long as one has not developed shraddha in the katha of the Lord. So once one has shraddha in katha, in hearing about the Lord, means that simply by hearing the katha I will attain perfection. So when that shraddha is there, then there is no more need for one to do this tarpan, shraddha, all this. Because if one does not do that, then one gets implicated in the bad karma. So Vaishnava is not required to do that. Anyatriti brahmananam shastritve tattat vedarchayam acharyam eva Vaishnavanam tu tattat mantra gurum eva shastritve vasthapyate. So the meaning is that Brahmanas, their acharya is the Veda. Means they are controlled by the injunctions of the Vedas. Brahma janati iti Brahmana. One who knows the Vedas. Brahma is another word for Veda. And Krishna said that Tasmat yagyam sarvam brahma pratishtitam. So Brahma karma samudbhava. Brahma there means Veda. So Brahmana means one who knows the Vedas, one who studies Veda, one who teaches Veda, one who follows Veda. So Veda is the teacher, controller, Shastra. King is considered as Shastra, the controller, ruler. So a Brahman's life is ruled by the Vedic injunctions. Therefore there is no need for a Brahmana to be controlled by the king, ruled by the king. He already has a ruler. And Vaishnavanam tu tattar mantra guru. And a Vaishnava is ruled by the guru who gives mantra. Because once you take Diksha from a guru, then you follow the instructions of the guru. So if there is also the ruler in the form of king, then there will be a clash. Because now he should follow. If there is a guru says one thing and the ruler says another thing, so whom you have to follow? There will be dharma sankata. There will be a problem. So he did not rule over the Vaishnavas. In other words, Vaishnavas are exempt from any rules of the king, because they are under the strict control of their teacher. So putransya sishyansya nirpo gururva mallok kamo madanugrahartha itham vimanyuran shishyat. Iti Rishabhokta. Rishabdev has also spoken similarly later on in the 5th canto. He will read instructions of Rishabdev also, where he instructs his sons. So he also gives similar instructions that they have to be not controlled. Putrancha sasyancha nirupo gururva malloka kama madanugraha atham vimanduran sashyat. So they are the people who have to be controlled. Another verse. So this is the description. Now from the next verse onwards he is going to describe how once he had called this assembly and he spoke in that. So that we will read tomorrow. If there is any question on this.
So if the devotee is also free of prarabdha karma, then anything that happens to him or her is Lord's grace, even if it looks like crazy.
Yeah, actually that's what is the Vaishnava understanding. That whatever happens is by the arrangement of the Lord. Because it is Lord who is now controlling the life of the devotee. So this is how the devotee takes it. So that's why there are two ways to see. Sometimes you hear a devotee saying that this is by the grace of the Lord. Even if some so-called trouble is coming, and some maybe bigger trouble was coming, he is reducing it. Or he is creating this trouble to give me some instruction. Or out of humility you think that I am suffering because of my past karma. As Prabhu was thinking.
This is not the fact.
The fact is that it is Krishna who controls the life of a devotee.
Isn't that a license to do anything that comes to your mind?
And that's what he said, that a Vaishnava is one who is under the control of Mantra Guru. If you are taking a license, then you are already not a Vaishnava. He was not controlling them because there was no place to control them. They are already under control. If somebody is already under control, then what is the need to control him? What is the need of instructing somebody who is already doing everything right? So that is the meaning of Niyatra.
So where does this, Abhijit Siddharajaro verse come in this context? In the Gita, Krishna says, in its chapter.
There also he says, Sadhureva Samantavi. That him also I consider as a sadhu. That comes because this person is. Actually, Jiva Goswami writes that this verse is not speaking of a person who has Shastriya Shraddha. Because one who has Shastriya Shraddha will not be Durachar. Because the person who has Shraddha in Shastra, he will not act against Shastra. So he says this description is of a Laukik Shraddha. He is doing bhajan, but he is not based on Shastra. Even that Krishna says is sadhu, because his resolve is proper. And he will also become free from this by the power of devotion. But even you have to see whether the resolve is there or not. So the important thing is Shraddha. And the Shraddha is not something ordinary thing. So he says, Sadhurev samanne apichet suduracharo bhajte mam ananya bhak. He is doing bhajan, ananya bhak means having no other motive, no other intention, no other desire. Then he may engage in durachar not because he is desiring this and then trying to rationalize it. No, he is not doing that. He does this because either he does not know this is wrong, because he does not have Shastriya Shraddha, or because he is addicted to it from the past life.
So then you have again karma.
Hmm?
Then there is again the element of karma.
Yeah, but this I already said that this is talking about a Vaishnava who has a mantra guru. This is a Vaishnava who is not that type of Vaishnava.
Achha.
That's why I said that one is Shastriya Shraddha, other is Laukik Shraddha. In that verse, Krishna is not talking about this type of Vaishnava who has a mantra guru. He's just a Vaishnava, means worshipping Krishna. Even he will become purified.
So then this means if someone has a mantra guru and has Shastriya Shraddha and still does an abominable act, he doesn't have Shastriya Shraddha.
Yes. Shastriya, this is the meaning of Shraddha. You see, Shraddha means where your faith is. Right? You do where your faith is. You act accordingly when your faith is in something. So it will not happen. But if it happens, that means the Shraddha is not very strong, because Shraddha is obviously not something only of one type. There is Komal Shraddha also. It's weak. So weak Shraddha means that for some time you may become covered by your Vasana. In that case means your Prarabdha karma is still active.
So it's not a black and white thing. It
It
can
is
be
not.
overlap
But
each
because
other.
you have Shraddha, you will not completely fall down. Even after going through that abominable act, you will come out of it. Because you don't have Shraddha in it, so you will not relish it. So in 11th Canto also Krishna says, Badhyamanopi mad bhakti, that sometimes my devotee may be troubled, yes, but he will not be overpowered by it. So it is never black and white, even when it is said there is no karma, we are always speaking about some elevated person. We are not talking about somebody who is still on the Anartha Nivritti platform. Someone who has at least come to the Nishtha.
So on the Anartha Nivritti platform things can overlap each other
That is the meaning of Anartha Nivritti.
and not appear as what they are or appear as something else.
Because it's a mixture of two things.
Mhm.
You have one type of baggage with you and you are trying to get something. So you are neither here nor there. That's the struggle. You are actually trying to go from black to white. So So you are neither in black nor in white.
So doesn't it ultimately, Babaji, depend on what God ultimately wants to do with you?
It
Or put
ultimately
on-
depends on that, but also you have to do your role. Ultimately depends on God. That's what we are reading. But He also has given you some choice to act, to make decisions. Or at least He wants it, that you make choice. Otherwise, mind will again say, well, anyway, he is doing it. That is also good if you become like that. But why I am saying is that mind has this tendency to utilize the nice part, and when trouble comes, then you rationalize it. When you have to do some your own duty, then you don't do it. So if you can actually become completely dependent like that no matter what, it's all God doing, that is also good, but it's not easy to do that. For that you have to be completely detached to your desires, to your senses. Not that now desire is coming and you start doing something and you say, oh, it's actually God wanted. You have to just become totally indifferent. That is also one type of Saranagati. Like that Marjar, the baby of the cat. The cat takes goes there, otherwise it doesn't want.
What is it? Okay.
Cat's baby doesn't move by itself.
Okay.
The cat who takes in the mouth and takes around. It's totally dependent.
So it's like totally surrendered, totally dependent, totally surrendered.
And that is called Saranagati.
Sharanagati.
What is the name of this land between Ganga and Yamuna?
Brahmavat.
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 Is Vrindavan in there, or are we on the other side?
Brahmavan is transcendental. It's neither inside nor outside.